Welcome to week 3 of our Godly Parenting Summit. It promises to be information packed. This week we're addressing the parenting in the 21st century, and we officially start now. So I'll reduce the volume of the music so you can hear me better, and then we move. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ife Okafor, convener of the Godly Parenting Summit. And today we're starting with 3 of the summit. And that means at the end of this session, we'll be halfway through. We have 3 more sessions after this. This week, we're dealing with parenting in the 21st century. And we'll be having a very, very seasoned expert to discuss this topic. So, how's everyone today? Like I said, we're in week 3 of week 6. We have 3 more topics to go, and they are all awesome topics as well. How's everybody doing? Can we feel some love in the chat room? Let's know if we're here, if we're ready. Yes, I see Amy. She says, I'm not a new parent. I've raised 3 boys, but now raising my princess. Oh, it's so different. I'm open to learning and unlearning. Yes, yes, yeah. Even if you have raised 10 children, as long as you are raising a child that was born after year 2000, you are in a new kettle of fish. Trust me, even the world entirely is in a new kettle of fish. Year 2000 marks the entry into the internet revolutionary era, when the fourth revolutionary era, and a lot of stuff have changed. That's why we call it 21st century parenting. It was like once those zeros just clicked in and it changed into a 2, the world just flipped. And so how are we ready to address it? Even if we've not gotten it right in the past, is there something we can do today? We're going to address all that. And to address that, well, if you've attended the last 2 weeks, you will know who I am. Like I said, my name is Ife Okafor. I'm a wife, mom of 4. I'm a parenting strategist, which is also another way for saying coach. And we help raise wholesome families, wholesome and godly families. I'm also the co-founder of the Digital Parenting School, and it's a platform that helps parents and guardians with the knowledge, skills, and tools they need to become comfortable, proficient, and proactive in the digital world. I'm a certified management consultant. I'm an IT professional. I'm an author. Yes, I have a book under my name, and I love mentoring youths in my spare time. I enjoy reading, dancing, and gardening. Now, remember I said I was a co-founder of Digital Parenting School. So guess who's anchoring today's session? My one and only business partner and also co-founder of the Digital Parenting School. Her name is Dr. Juliet Offia. As you can see, we barely squeezed in all her hearts into this slide, but I will take them so you understand who is here before you. She's a wife and she's a mom of 3. She's a medical doctor with over 15 years experience in clinical medicine. She's an award-winning medical media personality and health brand strategist. So if you've ever heard of Dr. Jules, that's who's speaking here today. She created Dr. Jules out of her passion to help health-based brands and women-owned businesses struggling with achieving visibility and profitability in the media space. She tried to do that to help them stand out as top-of-mind leaders in their industries by creating warmer, more relatable, professionally constructed content and practical strategies. When a doctor decides to go into content management, you know it's real, because that means she has a lot of talent. And that meant she's won several awards and recognitions for her many years in health content creation on radio, TV, and with shows like Health Matters with Dr. Jules. I'm sure some of us remember Health Matters, Med Stories with Dr. Jules, and We the Doctors on YouTube. Now she helps health brands on social media through her company called Dr. Jules Consults to achieve holistic profitability. She's an active member of publicity for the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria and a member of the Media Committee of the Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria. Wow. Presently, she's the director of Vafiero International Limited, one of the leading real estate companies in Nigeria. This is somebody we definitely need to talk on this, because see all the hats she's wearing. That's typical for us in the 21st century. So I guess she's right in this space. And she works for the Lagos State Health Service Commission. And like I said before, She's my co-founder of the Digital Parenting School. Juliet, are you ready? Are you here with us?
I'm here. Oh, you just carry everything and you drop it there.
Yes, I had to. They have to know that who is speaking is someone who is authorized to speak, someone who knows what 21st century is all about, someone who understands what rebranding is all about and how that comes back home to affect our kids and what we need to model for our kids.
Absolutely.
Yes, as you can see, the chat room is buzzing with the hearts and the claps. Please show Dr. Juliet lots of love. Show her lots of love. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Hello, Godly Parents Summit community. Oh my goodness. In short, I've learned so much from all the classes we've been having. When Ify told me that I was going to be on this platform, I'm like, what am I going to add? Oh my goodness, you guys, you have been doing so wonderfully well. And I'm really honored, honestly, and I must commend the community because you guys, you pour your heart out, okay, when we have these discussions, and that in itself is a beautiful thing. Thank you so much, Weke. Thank you, Chineye. Oh, thank you so much, guys. I'm feeling overwhelmed with your, show of emotions. I'm so excited to be here. I'm somebody, yes, hi, Tolu. I'm somebody that is very passionate about giving people wholesome information, okay, in the manner and in the dosage that you can use effectively to be more productive. So I do that very passionately in the health space, and I'm also very passionate about women and business, and I've helped a lot of people in that regard. Please, let's show appreciation for Ify for giving us this platform. Honestly, it is one that I'm so excited to be a part of. I've grown from it, and I'm sure if you've grown from this platform, please put some emojis there and some hearts. As in the past few weeks, we have grown so much. So thank you, Ify, the convener, for this platform, and every single one of you for being active participants. So I'm going to go straight on into the presentation of today, which is all about the 21st century parenting, okay? We're going to be touching that today, and the goal of this presentation is about, being a parent in the 21st century, how that works. Can you all hear me? I hope if you can hear me, type a Y. I'm very good.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic. Good. Thank you. Yes. Okay, good. So I want to make sure we are together because it's going to be very interactive. That's the way it's going to be very effective, okay? So being a parent in the 21st century, the perceptions, the issues, the implications, digital parenting, which Ify talked about. I almost said Dr. Ify, I'm around Dr.
I'm saying it in Jesus' name. I will soon be a doctor. Hey.
I tell you, as it is very, very appropriate. What Ify and I are, into, and that is, as you can see in the t-shirt I'm wearing, it's all about digital parenting. Can you hear me? It's like my video is frozen. Okay, it's good now.
Well, we can.
Good.
I can hear you.
All right, awesome.
Oh, it's breaking.
It's breaking. I hope not. I think the weather is changing here, but I'll just go on. But if it's breaking, just type a B and I'll know B is for breaking. But if you can hear me, Y for yes, N for no. It's breaking. Chiamaka said it's breaking. Can you guys still hear me? Maybe I'll change to my mobile data. If you can hear me, type a Y. If it's breaking,
I think we're going to just expect some technical hitches today. I know it's raining in different parts of Nigeria today. So perhaps are you sure network is not an issue for those who it's breaking? Because I'm hearing you loud and clear. And I see we have a lot of yeses. Right. So for those who it's breaking for, do you want to check your network? Do you want to move to locations to another part of where you are?
Yes, we're getting a lot of. Okay.
So I see.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we can continue.
All right. Thank you so much for the feedback, guys. So
we're going to talk about feedback, guys.
Yeah, we're going to talk about being a parent in the 21st century, digital parenting, and digital culture in the home. So let's move on to the next slide. We are, yes, 21st century parenting. You know, family is an integral part of our social transformation. Presently, I'm the chairperson in a community with over 114 families. So you must understand that the back and forth that I get a lot of time involves dealing with a lot of families. So it is something that we have to give its due attention. Sometimes I'm sure many of you, even before understanding or logging into this class, you would agree with me that sometimes we are operating on a parenting by proxy, as if, okay, I'm a parent, I'm parenting. It's just there, not consciously looking at it or even doing it alone. It can be very, very, you know, scary and lonely. And I hope this platform has given you that warmth that it is something that we really need to give its due attention. And we are going to do that justice on this platform and the community that we are building. It's actually the building block of society. The family bears the primary responsibility of the education and socialization of children, as well as for instilling values of citizenship and belonging in the society. You know, one thing that many parents, yes, we can appreciate that you're a member of a society, but I'm sure you agree with me that nowadays our children, even ourselves, we are now part of a global community. Can I get a Y for yes? Okay, part of a global community. In the old days, we know that there are ways that, thank you, Amy, you know that there are ways that we are expected to behave that, you know, our parents might not like, our uncle might not like, but now it's more of a, you know, we have to go outside the box. It's a much bigger space. If you can, you take the slides back, they are going forward.
Yeah, it's going back. I tapped it accidentally.
Okay, thank you. This is where we are. So thank you so much for the feedback. Absolutely. So now our parenting has to go beyond our society, beyond our community. It has to be on a global scale. Okay. And if you get there, trust me, these kids, they know when you have upped your game, your level has changed. You know, they're all about computing, gaming. They know how to upgrade. Even our phones. Even our phones are updating every day. Can I get a yes, yes? That's what it is.
Yes,
so
yes.
You cannot be static. You cannot. You have to take the time out to invest in your parenting skills, because the rules of the games, they don't apply. What our parents dealt with is totally different. When we came to this realization, myself and Ify, because we co-founded Digital Parenting, we realized that, I mean, I remember that day very clearly. It was a PTA meeting. And they were talking about some gaps that parents had when it comes to helping their children online, talking about cyber security, talking about all the cyberbullying, different issues that are new to us as parents. And I noticed that Ify and I were vibing on the same wavelength, and then we locked eyes. And I said, Madam, we have to see after this meeting, okay? So fast forward, and here we are with digital parenting, because trust me, it is something that is going to be very instrumental for, not only for you as somebody attending this class, but for all of us as parents, because we all learn from each other, okay? It is even more critical in the 21st century with all the pressures and challenges that children and parents face every day. Can we go to ensure that their child is not only prepared for the adult world, but that they throw open the doors and walk into their lives with confidence and enthusiasm. So that confidence, ladies and gentlemen, I hope there are men here with us. So
There are men. Don't worry, they are not talking, but they're full ground.
Thank you so much for being with us. It is very important that we get our children to that point where they are confident. Confidence comes with information, and they can only mirror what we show to them. Wouldn't it be beautiful if the first information and the truth, which is something I tell parents, that the truth is something that is almost, that in the era that we're in, it's almost that as if the truth is something that is constantly being attacked. But we are really, really favored and under the grace where we know what the truth is, we are guided, we know what the ideal should be, and we're guiding our children towards that. And the beautiful thing that comes with that is that when they are totally confident, they do not suffer some of the challenges that we'll be talking about on today's presentation. Are we together? Can I get a yes, yes? Why? Move on to the next slide. We're together. Let's get going. Let's upgrade our level. Let's go on to the next slide. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Juliet. Juliet, my namesake. So 21st century parenting. Okay, so the fundamentals are still the same. Okay, parenting has changed quite a bit, of course. I mean, without saying, we all know that it has changed. In the 21st century, there is more pressure to provide, pressure to keep up with social media and technology, pressure to keep the children physically, mentally, and emotionally safe. When I see this, this write-up, we are thinking of the children. Are we emotionally safe? Are we even stable with the pressures? We are seeing people that are using money that they're supposed to use for school fees to go straight, or they are using one. There are a lot of people with conflicting interests. The influence is there, and it's quite much for an adult, let alone a child. So I really want to take this opportunity in this presentation to bring our awareness to the challenges, because the challenges, we shouldn't look at it as challenges that the children only face, but challenges that we are also exposed to as parents. Then when we understand how to navigate our ways in the challenges, then we can help, or of course, while tapping into the grace of our Heavenly Father, help our children as well. Okay, this being a Godly Parenting Summit, we really have to bring it home and put in some, quotes from the Bible about key character traits that we should emulate as parents. Okay, when it comes to, these are key. There are 4 of them that I'll be talking about, and the first one is responsibility. Okay, responsibility. Somebody type responsibility into the chat. Responsibility. Okay, parents are responsible for the upbringing and well-being of their children. We have a quote from the Bible from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4. Thank you, Amy. Amy, your fingers are sharp. Is your type we are looking for. Thank you so much, Fumilayo. Thank you so much. I see all your quote. I'm happy that we are all moving together. So from Ephesians 6, verse 4, it says, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." Now, the beautiful thing that we have when it comes to, our religion, any religion really, because we really want this platform to be a platform that welcomes everyone, every religious parent, is we keep our eyes focused on the truth. Okay, the world has a way of trying to paint and package and restructure what the truth is. They want to define the truth to be something that is your own truth. What is your truth? What is my truth? We have to make sure we don't lose sight of what the truth is. And the ultimate navigator of what the truth is and what is the spine and foundation of everything we do as a parent should come from the good book, should come from our faith. Okay, so we have to lay this as a foundation, because even at Digital Parenting School, everything we do, we always get the navigation tapping from the grace of our Almighty Father. Okay, so we talked about responsibility. The second thing is about love. Somebody type in love in the chat. Love. The second character that we must emulate. Parents are called, thank you, Blessing. Parents are called to love their children unconditionally. Thank you, Jennifer. True story. I have a confession to make. Working as a medical doctor, it can be very, very tedious. Okay, I go to work, I do my calls. Sometimes I do 48 hours calls. Thank you, Chooks. And then I come back in the morning. There was one time I came back in the morning on a Sunday, and then oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I came back in the morning, and then I was supposed to go to church, but I was so tired. I said, okay, evening mass. Evening mass came. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And then I went to meet sometimes you want to tap into, if you have been raising your children with the word of God, they tend to channel his message sometimes. I now said to my child that, oh my goodness, I'm so tired. I've been working all day. If I don't go to mass this evening, as a Catholic, we take the Sunday mass as a sacramental. We try not to miss Sunday masses. And I said, I'm so tired. I can't make the mass this evening. I'm sure we'll just, next Sunday we'll go. I don't think I've breached any, I've committed any sin. I can receive my communion. I said, I'm so tired. And you know what my daughter said? My daughter told me, When Jesus was carrying cross, he was not tired of it. These children will not kill me. I mean, honestly, she just channeled. I felt so
That
silly.
message was just passed from sender through her to you.
I'm telling you, it is so funny, honestly, because at that point, I realized that even the children, they understand when we expose them to the suffering of Christ, when we the door is saying, my goodness, when we expose them to the word, they understand the amount of sacrifice, the amount of love that it took our Savior to work up, all the way to Calvary to be crucified for us, for our sins. So yes, I just decided to share that story with you because I think that was the ultimate, for a child to be able to understand that level of sacrifice. It comes from a place of always studying the word of God, understanding that there's a love that is greater than ours. So in this situation where we are talking about love here, let us always remember that it is the ideal that we seek. We are human beings, we have flaws, but if you mirror these characteristics from our Savior, you can never go wrong. Yes, we do play those cards sometimes of, our report card, we are getting all the A's and whatever. But trust me, if you focus on mirroring these characteristics from our Savior, from our Lord, from a divinity that is beyond ourselves, you can never go wrong. The reason why I'm saying this is because some people might feel like, oh, maybe I'm not the ideal parent, or I'm second guessing myself. If you take it a step further and look into the scripture to bring these messages to the children, you can never go wrong with that foundation, okay? The third thing is discipline. Let's type in discipline, discipline, discipline. Parents are responsible for disciplining their children when necessary. In Proverbs 13, verse 24, thank you so much, Amy, Casey, thank you, blessing. It says, whoever spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him. I'm going to tap into what our convener said the last time we had the class. She said she wanted to discipline her child, and she had to tell her daughter to write, something, and usually
some lines,
some lines over and over again. So I tapped into that. So my son was being very, very naughty. I gave him the ultimate waiting time. I did not react the way we used to react spontaneously, just like we talked in the summit. And I told him, okay, go and write. It was something positive, that would, influence his behavior. And I told him to write it in 5 pages. And when he was on the 3rd page, he said, mommy, this is even harder than when you seize my device.
Exactly.
I said, godly parenting, don't catch you. Yes, so that is what I use on them now. When I see that, their character is going out of line or not in line with what we've been praying for or what we are working towards, I have a talk with the child, and I give them something more constructive, so instead of saying, I will not do, I was a naughty boy or whatever, I gave him a statement like, oh, I'm a good boy and I will always complete my homework. So that program him. Yes, thank you, Ify, for that one.
Let them write lines of affirmation. So one sentence can be 3 lines long, and they can write it 50, 100 times or more, depending on their age. It serves to reinforce the value system. It serves to reinforce that affirmation into their system. It is also a producive way of disciplining the child. It's not go and do something that has nothing to do with what they did wrong.
Absolutely, and it was very effective. Said this is more tiring, this is more painful, and that was a good and effective way to tailor him. Yes, word of affirmation. Thank you, Tranquil. So, and the fourth character is good example. Somebody type it in, good example. Parents are called to set a good example for their children to follow. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6 to 7, it says, and these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk to them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise. It is very important that we find that time we intentionally create that time to soak ourselves in the word of God. It is very instrumental in our quest to becoming intentional and godly parents. Let's go to the next slide. So, in the course of this presentation, we'll be doing several exercises to help us to reiterate most of the points that we are saying here and put you into the mindset and prepare you for more information that would give you. That's the beautiful thing that we have in this summit going on. So it's a continuum. I will encourage you not to break that continuum because it will help you in the long run. So what do we intend to achieve at the end of the day? Want to be intentional parents. That's parenting with a purpose, parents who are deliberate about values they want their children to learn. So that's being intentional. We want to communicate properly, okay? Parents that do their best to communicate effectively with their children at all times is what we want to achieve as a 21st century parent, okay? And when I say communicating effectively, yes, sometimes you might not be with your child, and then maybe you are communicating with them through a device and you send a message and, oh, we'll talk about this later. Please, when you know that that's whatever you're going to speak with that child is very important, create the time for that talk. Don't be, there's something I usually encourage parents to do. Be comfortable in the uncomfortable moments. Be comfortable in the uncomfortable moments. There should be no time in your parenting journey where you're like, I don't want to talk about that, or I'm not comfortable with that topic or whatever. Find the grace. We always tap from the grace of the Almighty to be able to be comfortable there, because it is in those tension moments that growth lies. So please let every communication be intentional, as in schedule a time for such moments, because that is where, thank you, Tranquil, that is where your growth lies, and you learn and the child learns as well. Every moment of communicating with your child or reiterating a point is a moment to also learn and grow yourself as a parent. So be a role model. We mentioned that, and we've also tapped into the biblical support for that message, which is a mirror of being a good example. Parents who are aware that their children learn more from what they do, not what they say. We'll go back to that again. And be present. Present parents understand that quality time with their children is very important. They value quality time over the quantity. So it's not about being there all the time, you understand? But when you are there, what is happening? That has to be an intentionally planned experience from your part. Then be knowledge seeking. Like we said, parents who know that things change very quickly in the 21st century, and so they need to keep our best to ensure they are able to provide the best option for their children, which is what this community is about. Knowledge seeking. We always want to learn from each other. You can't know everything, but when you tap into a community like this, you tap into the knowledge of every single one of us, and we are all moving together. Then be tech aware. Parents who understand that, once we parents who understand that our children already interact with technology, and we are responsible for ensuring they do so appropriately. Let's go to the next slide. So those are the 6 things you want to achieve as a 21st century parents. Now, digital parenting. What is digital parenting? This is something we have to, I know some people are scared of devices. Don't be. At the end of the day, we want you to fall in love with devices and understand that they are here. They are not the enemy. We are going to work with it as an instrument, okay, that is going to take us to the next level. Digital parenting means teaching your children about the digital world and how to be safe in it. It involves guiding and teaching your children how to be responsible in the digital world. We are all, whether we like it or not, we are all inside. By virtue of the fact of this class, we are all there, okay? So we should learn to embrace it and use it as a tool that it is to take us to the next level in our parenting game. That's what 21st century parenting is about. Next slide. Okay, so can we go to the next slide?
We're coming.
Yes, we're there. Why is digital parenting important? Thank you, Ify. First of all, it protects children from the online dangers. There are so many of them. We have, type a Y if you can hear me. A call came in. Type a Y if you can hear me. Y for yes. Thank you. So why digital parenting? Thank you, Ogo. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. So it protects your parents from your children from online dangers. Online dangers, cyberbullying, gaslighting, identity theft. There are so many of them. We need to be aware of all these dangers. It promotes responsibility of technology use, okay? Because you cannot police them all the time. They have to take ownership of this control. It supports healthy development. If I share the videos that we have, there are so many of them that we have in the digital parenting school that shows you the impact that these devices can have on our children. It can be scary, but a good thing that we're talking about it now, you completely be safe and understand how to protect your children when we take you on our digital parenting course. Then preparing your children for the future. This is what it's all about. It's very, sometimes when I see a child that is really ignorant about how the network, the whole cyberspace works, it's not a good thing. Yes, I understand you want to protect your child, but at the same time, they have to have the right information so that, knowledge is protective. You have to make sure they're aware of certain things so that when they go into the digital space or anywhere, to be honest, they go in confidently with the fact that you have given them the backbone to take that next step and swing the doors open, as we say in our community. Let's go to the next slide. So let us dive into the nitty-gritty of the matter. When we finish in our goal here is to make you understand, once you open your awareness to the impact of this digital world, and then how you can transcend, above, the negative side of it and become somebody that is in control of that space, okay? So what do you see in the picture? Can somebody type, what does this look like? I'm sure some of you are like, what is Doc trying to do? What do you see here? What do you see happening in this family? Everyone is in their own world. Exactly, Amy. Everyone is in their own world. Even the toddler is a digital family, okay? Everyone doing their own thing, What else? Digital family, everybody minding their own business, absolutely. You see, everybody is on their phone, and it is very, very easy for you to get here and not know that you are here. It is very easy. It is very easy. I'm sure at some point too, you would have gotten to the point where you are on the device, but you are not consciously using that device, okay? You're not consciously using it constructively with your family. So we are going to show you how you can use the knowledge, how you can use the awareness in a more positive way. Let's go to the next slide.
Hey. Well done. You guys, let's hear some love in the group. I want the chat room to start buzzing.
Are you getting value? Are you getting value? Nuclear family chatting digitally. I love that. Yes, thank you, Eukarya. Good. So who is parenting who? This is a big question. Who is parenting who? Yes, let's move on to the next slide. The reason why I'm asked this is sometimes you think you're the one in control, but who is really in control? Now we have a question on the chat. On the screen, we have a group of apps, okay? There are 10 of them. We're going to ask a question and I just want to know, how many of these apps do you have? Oh, sorry about that, Callista. You might need to go to a location where your connection is better, okay? So you can connect better. So we have 10 apps on the screen. So I want to ask you a question. I think we're going to put a poll up in the WhatsApp room, if that is possible as well. What we want to know is how many of these apps are on your phone right now. So if you have less than 5, okay, we have the, so you have above 5, less than 5, let's go, all. Aderinola said all, okay?
Some
Nothing is,
people are like me, God help us. Oh.
if you have all, there's no shame, oh, type your all, Jejeje.
Yes, so please, with your full chest.
Type it. If you have all, fine, nice, good, 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 good. Yes, type it there. Fantastic. We have a lot of digital parents here. Good. Second question I want to ask you is, let's have the next slide. All plus some more.
No, you people don't want to know how many apps I have on my phone. You all run.
So
But there's a way around managing them.
I'm telling you, what do these apps have in common? Who can tell me? What do these apps have in common? I'm looking at your responses. Yes. What do these apps have in common? Account.
They waste time.
They waste time.
Yes, I'm driving, so I can't type. They waste time.
They waste time. Thank you so much. Who is that? I didn't get images, social media. Thank you, Tolu. I'm saying, what do these apps have in common? Keep them coming. Time consuming, sharing of information, communication with outside world, beautiful. Social career interaction, selling time, okay, communication, sharing common messages, beautiful. Everything that you said is absolutely correct. But I want to open your eyes even further. Thank you, Chinonso, self-visibility. I want to open your eyes even further. What these apps have in common. Let's go to the next slide. These slides, these apps, all of them, I'm going to tell you what is common about them. They are all competing for the ultimate product. And the ultimate product is your attention. The ultimate product is what? Your attention. Somebody type your attention. These big, yes, these big companies, thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much. They are competing for your attention. Thank you, Eukaria. Thank you so much, Ogo. They're competing for your attention. Companies are paying them big to get your attention. They are paying psychologists to make sure you see this. They want you to keep doing this all the time, all the time. So before we get you to talk about how to help the children.
Sorry, Juliet, when would you like me to share sorry, I'm interrupting. When would you like me to share the results?
The results, yes, please, you can share it now. That would be nice.
Okay.
Wow,
so only 30 people were brave enough to answer us. Why now?
We are not, it's a non-judgmental group, okay? All of us, we are on the ship. My app, Feedboss phone. So we are all inside, okay? So we have 80% of people that responded to this. About 30 of you responded, saying they have above 5 of the apps that we displayed. And then 20% said less than 5. So what we are saying here, thank you so much, Isi, for sharing that. So what we are saying here is that these apps are competing for your attention. We want you to come to collective awareness that, okay, they are competing for my attention. The reason why I'm saying that is, yes, we want to work out how to make this space children good with their screen time, but we have to start from our own, behavior, our own exposure as well. So, because at the end of the day, our children are the ones suffering because they are losing our attention. Can I get a yes, yes? Why? Can I get a yes, yes? All right. Why? We are to. I'm getting some distorted sounds. Is that
just 1 minute. Okay, done. Muted.
All right. Thank you. So we move on to the next slide. Now we understand that these devices are competing for our attention as well as parents. So keep that in mind. Now,
And just to reinforce what Juliet was saying, sorry, Juliet, just 1 second. Just to reinforce what Juliet was saying, there's no right or wrong way about using apps in terms of having 100, 500, 2 apps. That's not the point. The question is, how much time are you spending?
Absolutely. That's it. So it's not, these are tools. So we have to be aware of why we have them on our device, what we need to use them for, and why we are using them in the first place. So that at the end of the day, we should know who is using who. Am I communicating? You have to come to that awareness. It's very important. Now, this is a quote from Edward Turfel. Everybody, Turft. Yes, that's it. He is a political strategist. He's also somebody that is he studied political science in Yale University. He has written several books. And this quote, I want you to soak in this quote. He said, there are 2 industries, only 2, that call their customers users. Illegal drug industry and what? Software industry. When you are logging in, what do they call it?
I'm shy.
You are shy. When you are logging in, what do they call it now? Somebody should type it. What they call that thing? Before you put password, what do you put in? Username. 1. Am I communicating? User.
I'm an IT person. We refer to everybody as users. User accounts, user names, user password, user this. So you are a user.
You are a user.
Because it detaches us from getting to know you personally.
Absolutely. So these companies have gotten the psychologists, and they know that when you get on these devices, there is a thin line that you might become somebody that would be, I mean, how many of you have been? I am the first, let me just answer before you. I'm the first. I've been on the phone sometimes in the night before I got into this digital awakening. And I'll be like, let me just a few more minutes. Let me just watch this. And now they know what you like. The digital, the computer behind knows how many minutes you spend on a particular post. And then they bring like posts on so that you keep staying on the line, so that the ads can be in your face, so that you spend more time, they get more of your attention. And the big companies are paying them big money. And the highest bidder goes to the person that keeps the attention the most. You are being profiled. Every marketing tool is going towards you because they know your likes and they studied your psychology. It's 5 a.m., my sister. Hey, I've been on the phone. Before I knew what was happening, it was 4:30. That was when I said, Holy Ghost, what is going on? It was like a light bulb. Even before then, there was a time when I was talking to my son. He was 2 years old at the time. And then he was talking to me. I noticed he was talking to me. I was responding, but he kept on saying, Mommy. He was trying to get my attention. And I kept on saying, I'm answering you. I'm answering you. And then his little hands, I felt them on my face like this. And he turned my face from the phone. I said, Mommy, listen to me, talk to me. Oh, that thing touched me. Because I was actually answering this boy and my face was not on him.
No eye contact.
No eye contact.
So you were answering him politically.
God bless you. But I was not connecting with him. So these devices have been created in such a way, there's a notification. It's just like a crying baby. You will look at them. You will look. How many do we look at our children that often? Are we that concerned? What's wrong with the child? Are we that concerned when we are in their presence? I want you to get to that awareness. We have to get to that collective consciousness that there is a competition for our attention so that we can intentionally disconnect or reconnect with our children. That's what digital parenting is going to do for you, to bring you out of that matrix so that you understand that you don't need to be in that plug, in that system anymore. So let's watch this video and then we get back and I'll round off my presentation.
Children up to 8 years old spend an average of 2 hours and 19 minutes in front of a screen every day. And 47% of parents worry that their kids are addicted to mobile devices. It also includes many parents in the tech industry. Jamie Yukas takes a look at how they're dealing with their kids.
In Silicon Valley, devices are an essential part of daily life. But many of the tech titans creating these products choose to power down when they leave the office, following industry giants like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, who restricted their own kids' access to technology at home. Pierre Laurent has worked for companies including Microsoft and Intel. He says the tech industry designs products to hook users.
Do you think the average parent is aware of that danger?
No, I don't think the parents are aware of that.
Pierre and his wife Monica became concerned that their 3 children would miss out on real-life experiences while on their devices. Researchers are still learning more about how technology affects kids, but some early studies of heavy tech users show potential links to a rise in teen suicide rates, addiction, anxiety, and loss of social skills. None of the 3 children played video games or watched TV, and they didn't get cell phones until they were teenagers. Their 13-year-old daughter Maya spends her free time knitting and playing in the backyard.
Do you ever miss technology?
Not really, no. The only thing I might miss technology for is listening to music or an audiobook.
Every parent is really struggling with how to reap the benefits of technology while minimizing some of the risks.
Caroline Knorr is the senior parenting editor for Common Sense Media, a nonprofit that studies the effect of media and technology on kids. They recommend paying close attention to kids' demeanor while using their devices and creating a schedule with guidelines on the types of tech activities they can do and for how long. For Monica and Pierre, the hope is that a tech-free childhood will lead to more balance later in life.
Young children need to grow in a different environment that hasn't had that much technology in it.
Jamie Yukas, CBS News, Silicon Valley.
Hi. See what
Wow.
these people have done to us.
Can you see that? You see, these are the good top executives that are creating these devices.
Children up to 8
Yes, they don't allow their children on the devices because they know what they are creating. And they know that it can get them, addicted. They know the challenges that are there. So you have to now know how to use it for what is intended. There was Andy, what's his name now? This tech guy, he was formerly with Google. He was saying that a bicycle will never get you addicted to using it. You use it and then you keep it. But the devices, we have to be aware that they can use it, but at some point it can start affecting them negatively. We go into layers of these, the effects on the child's brain and why we need to monitor their timing on the device in our digital parenting courses, okay? So that is why we are very, very passionate about this, because there are a lot of us that don't know about this. So we hope we have gotten you to the consciousness that these things, we are all users. We need to be mindful of how we use them. The people that invented them don't have their children on these devices. We need to start making intentional choices and becoming 21st century parents. Can I get a YY for a yes, yes? YY for yes, yes. Let's move on to the next slide. Are you getting value? Are you getting value? Open your eyes. This is what is happening. So let's go on to as we round up, we have to get to the ultimate influencer factor in our family. Let's go back. So the question is, what attributes of your parents influenced you the most when you were growing up? Is it their advice or their behavior? Type an A or a B. Make your choice.
So I have a poll. I did a poll.
We have a poll. Fantastic. So you can click on the poll. What influenced you the most from your own parents, your guardians, anybody that raised you? Let's all participate, because these polls help us to tailor our trainings, okay? When we are working on our content with you. So let's quickly make our decision. I see some of you stating your comments and your responses. So what we can share the results.
So the numbers are still coming in.
Yes, so when you were a child, now that you're an adult, when you reflect back, what attributes of your parents, what is that character that stuck with you the most? Was it the advice that they gave you or the behavior that they made? I can see most of you on the chat are typing both, but more of behavior, people typing B. Let's see what the poll is going to say. Ify, do we have a good?
I'll give about 30 seconds more for the poll so that we have the final numbers.
Absolutely. The ultimate influencer. Because now what social media is telling us, they understand that if you can influence someone, if you can get their attitude, if you can control, they call it marketing humans' future. They can predict what you can do in the future. That's how far the industry, the tech industries are trying to predict every single action we take. We have to take that power back. That's what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. That is what I
think in the future, the same question, there will be a third leg. Their social media pages.
There'll be a what?
A third aspect, as maybe in a few years' time, when you're asking this question again, especially for the millennial parents, we'll be asking their advice, their behavior, and their social media profiles.
Wow.
Yes, because the thing is, as parents, we need to be careful what we project outwards. Our children and their friends are seeing that. We need to be careful how we engage people online in their chats, our comments, our responses. You can come home and be a preacher parent. I mean, if you were here in class in the first week, you know, we talked about preacher parents, matter parents. You come home, you preach at your children all the time. You tell them to model this. You even try to model good behavior at home. Then you go behind the screen with your keypad and become keypad terrorist and be harassing everybody online. Then one day your child will become an online person and will now see your profile. And because they can see your profile, they might even have access to things you said before they were even born. And then now begin to view you in a different light.
Wow.
That's the power of digital footprints.
It never forgets.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So our results are in.
Fantastic. So wow, this is interesting. So we have, the question was, what attribute of your parents influenced you the most when you were growing up? 36% of you said the advice of your parents, and 73% of you said the behavior of your parents. Absolutely. So what we are saying here is, how are you behaving? The ultimate influencing factor is your behavior. Yes, you can, most people, even if you go and visit a place, you get an experience from a spa or a salon, or you go to a place for a service, you will see that what you remember is not, you won't remember what anybody said, but how they made you feel. So you have to make sure your behavior, whatever you are mirroring now, it is something that your children, they are studying everything that you're doing. They're like magnets, okay? They are taking and soaking in all that information, all that data, as we call it in the digital space, and they are going to mirror it in the future in their life. That is the impression. That is the most impressionable factor, the ultimate influencing factor in our lives that we are passing to our children. Next slide, please. All right. So what we are saying basically is that, okay, how do we prepare our children for the future? We prepare them academically, we prepare them relationship-wise, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. So how do we become the principal influencer in our children's lives in all of this? To the next slide, please. Yeah, so this is a quote that I put down that I want you to really reflect on. We have to strive to become the principal influencer in our children's lives through the grace and the truth of our faith, values, and beliefs, while leveraging continually on the 21st century approach, tools, and skills that are available to us. So our message here is that we tap into the grace of our Almighty God, okay? And then we channel everything to our children, all that grace, and also not be afraid of the tools, the 21st century tools that are going to be available to us. We seek that knowledge, we apply it, and of course, in our community here, we give you the guidance to use those tools. And trust me, it's just like becoming parenting Pro Max, X Max Pro. How will I call it? You become the pro in that area, okay? So that is what we desire, and that is what we wish for every single person in our community. Let's go to the next slide. All right, this is just, I call it Virtue Hunters. It's actually something that I devised from, it's something that my parents, my children and I do, but I had to put it in a wheel because I had to like reflect on it. And I felt it was very, very interesting. That's why I decided to share it in this class. So basically, I teach my children to be virtue hunters. What that means is when they come back to me and they tell me some characteristics of their friends that they like, we sit down, they go out there when they tell me of, oh, this person, I like the way she behaved, XYZ. I do not end it there. It's just something that I'm throwing out there that you can apply yourself. I go ahead and I call the parents of that child. I let them understand the compliment that I'm getting, because it's good when parents get that reassurance that they've tried. It's not easy to be a parent, but when somebody is calling and say, you are trying, my children admire your kids, you understand? Then we build a relationship. I want to build a relationship with that parent as well to understand what it is that they are doing that I can also tap into. Am I communicating? Can I get a yes, yes? So it goes beyond.
Yes.
You see that village that we are talking about. When you're building that village, it's the thread that weaves that village should be virtue. Somebody type in the chat, the thread should be the virtue. The thread should be the virtue. When I see a child that my kids are like, oh, I like this about it, or I go to a house and I like the way they arrange their pantry or whatever, I tell them, ask them if they can take permission to snap that pantry. They bring it home. What we do, we analyze that information. We talk about it. It is a discussion. We table the matter. So when we hunt for the virtue, we now itemize it. And then we talk about it. Why do they like it? What's good about it? If we want data set, right, they go as far as snapping. There was one time my daughter was like, I like the way my friend, they arrange the fridge in their house. I told her, I asked permission to take a picture. She took a picture, she brought it. That's using your digital acumen in a positive way. She snapped it, we looked at it, we say, hey, this is how they kept their fruits. They put it in one nice container like that. We analyzed it. And then we have an assignment. I tell them, okay, when we go to the supermarket, look for the things that we can use that as in how we can put it in the house. The fourth thing is now adaptation and practice. Make these things fun. Do you understand? So next time they are looking forward to, what can I see? How can I adopt this feature of this person? The fifth thing is adoption and improvement. You can then make it to tailor your own family, adaptation so that you can go on to the next level. And it becomes something that you are not only hunting for the skills that you can use in developing your family. That's why I call it a growth wheel. You make it a family activity. And you are all engaged in it and you can all pray about it and you elevate yourself in that way. I hope you understand this wheel.
I do. I've corrected it too. I know we do something along this line, but not as intentional as this. And I love this. I love this.
Thank you. It's always a nice practice that we have when they go out. So when they are going out, you want them to be conscious that they are going out with the virtues. They are going out with the honor of the family. They're representing the family when they go out there. And when they come back, they are virtue harvesters. They come back and they bring in what they like about the experience and what beautiful thing they would like to adopt when they went to visit their friends. And that makes, every outdoor activity, every visitation to their friends, something that we look forward to because we are using it as a tool to elevate our parenting, and our family, our dynamics as a family, if you know what I mean. So that's how we grow as a family. I just wanted to share that with you. Let's go to the next slide.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. See, this 21st century parenting is not for babies. Oh.
At all. So we are modeling behavior. Okay. So that's one thing I want you to take from this discussion. What are the tools we need to achieve, the model behavior for our children? Next slide. So that's the thing that we want to focus on. Okay. So it starts with you. Okay. It is you. It starts with you. You have to accept your vulnerability. You have to accept. Thank you so much, Chinyere. Chineye. Yes. Chineye, yes. You have to accept your vulnerability. What does that mean? Accept where you have, okay, I need to work on this area. Never will I say self-shame or whatever if you feel you are vulnerable. Remember, we know that, yes, we are trying to get to that model behavior, but on your path to that journey, you can always reflect our Lord and Savior as the ideal in your journey to being your ultimate influencer in your home, okay? Then the second thing, you want to tap into the grace of the Father. We keep saying that that's what the Godly Parenting Summit, we will be nothing. Our information here will be nothing without that grace from our Father, okay? The third thing is a supportive community. Can I get a GPS? Somebody type it in the chat, Godly Parenting Summit. It's all about building the community. The village is no longer on your street. It's no longer, it's that person in my club or whatever. We have to break the borders and go beyond, okay? This is the supportive community that we're talking about. I don't think I've seen a community of this kind because we are really bringing all the tools into one place. There's nothing archaic about this. We are opening up, we're sharing together, we're growing together. It's all about the Godly Parenting Summit. This is where we are all working on the path together with our Savior, using all the tools available to us to really up our game in the parenting space. Then we also talk about operating from a place of honor, okay? There was a study that I saw about parents that are doing very well in the parenting game, and they found out a commonality was that it's not about how many rules they have. It's not about how many restrictions they give their children, but how do you honor your family? We have to start putting everything around honor, honoring your parents, honoring the word of God, honoring our belief system. When you put it around honor, the children, by the grace of God, would ask themselves when they take action, if this is going to honor my parents, would this honor the belief system that I have? Is it going to honor my family? If it's something that is going to dishonor my family, I'm not going to engage in it. It makes it easier. It gives you less rules because rules can make your home a bit military. So trust me, if you are somebody that you are starting from zero, let that thought process of let us reflect honor. Let us reflect what our family is all about. Let us be respectful. Let us do everything that you know that you can do in the presence of your parents. That is something that, and you know that will honor them, is something that should be on the table for every family. Even if you have no rules, that should be a foundation that can guide you on any other thing. Trust me. And the journey will be smoother and more enjoyable that way. Then talking about the apps now, let's go digital. Uninstalling unproductive apps on your phone. After this meeting today, the apps that are not serving you, you remember, we've gotten you to the digital consciousness that you are, as in you are the one in control, okay? They are the tool, not you. You shouldn't be the user. They shouldn't use you. It's the other way around. Use your apps as a tool. Go in after this class and check out the ones that are really not serving you. Okay, doesn't increase you in any way. If it is robbing you of your time, robbing you of your, and there are tools that we have in our digital parenting class that is going to help you know how much time you spend on each app so that you know the one that you can actually limit the time. You dial the time in a particular app and, oh, I've spent 6 hours on this app. Okay, I'm going to put it on only 2 hours. You become a guru. We are going to make you like a cyber guru. So you tune each time that you need on each app, and then you have a healthier relationship with your device. You need to turn off all notifications. Even this, my laptop, it's my husband's own. I've been trying to look for where to turn off the notification, and my phone notification is never on because I don't want anything distracting me from the present. It is called a present because it's a gift to you. Nothing should be distracting you from your presence. You should enjoy it. Do you understand what I'm saying? There you go. My phone does not, this sound that you're hearing, you will never hear it on my laptop. It's just that I didn't use my laptop today. Notifications are a no. Put them off. When you want to go to your phone, let it be your own conscious decision to go in there and you are taking an information, or you need to check on your email or whatever. You shouldn't be the one prompting you and calling you. You are not you are the one in control. Can I get a yes, yes? Can I get a yes, yes? You are the, we want you to have total control. That's what it means to be a 21st century parent. You shouldn't be the one. Your phone is you. Come here, and you're the one answering. No, you are in charge. Okay. So another beautiful tool I want to give you in this class is Quant. I don't know how to pronounce it. Quant over Google for search. This advice was actually given by the same technical engineer that designed the algorithms that helps Google to select search results for you. What Google does is that it monitors your internet surfing patterns. And if we are to search on the same thing on Google, it will give me the result based on my location, based on my surfing preferences on my phone, based on the things that I like, because it is an ad generating device. So it will give you the search results that is tailored to your own personality. Two of us will search on the same thing, but it will give us two different results because that's the way it's wired. So the man that created that algorithm is saying, I don't even use Google to search. He's saying I use Quant. Why is he using Quant? Quant will not track you on devices. Quant will not track your location. Quant will not track your behavior on the internet. So we are moving into the part of a digital space where what we call ethical technology, okay? Humane technology, where they don't, use you as a product. Am I communicating? So you might want to explore using Quant. You can download it as an app, or you can download it as a search engine. There's Quant for Safari. So you can download that. So just take that as our donation to you on this class, okay? Somebody say Quant, here I come. Yes, then watching videos recommended for you. You know how you go online, you have that intention. I want to check this particular thing. But before you know what is happening, you are still there. Why? Because it recommends things that it knows that will get your attention. That is the algorithm that we are talking about. Be very, very self-conscious of that, because that robs you of your time. So do not go and start watching. Let your mentality, let your consciousness be on the mode of, did I search for this video? If I didn't search for this video, I'm not watching it. Am I communicating? We want to give you the power in digital parenting school, so that time that you're using to watch that video that is making one person laugh, or that video of, videos that don't even add any value to you, you should be using that to channel your energy to your children and use the device for what is intended to add value to different aspects of your life where you need it to serve you, not you serving your device. Can I get a yes, yes? Can I get a why? Okay.
Yeah, while they are typing their why, there's something I wanted to mention here. Please, Instagram in particular has even elevated their game on this whole recommended videos thing. Today, if someone sends you a link to watch something on Instagram, guess what happens when you click the link? You won't even see the video you asked for. You will see an ad video, a sponsored video. So if you're not even careful, you will have finished watching the video and saying, are you sure this is related to what I'm supposed to be looking at? So one tip again from us here is, if someone sends you a link to watch an Instagram video, click on the link. Within the first 3 seconds, if it's not looking like what you want, just go back, click on the link a second time. That's when you will see what you are supposed to see. So don't fall into that sinking sand. I call it the sinking sand of recommended videos. They are priming these things with your algorithm, which is why you will go into a place like Instagram to spend 2 minutes or to even just watch a specific video, and 1 hour later you're still there. You don't even know how that happened. So for me, for example, if you go to your settings page on Instagram, you can put a screen monitor where you can put on the timer that will just prompt you. You can set it to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, and once the time is up, it will tell you, you have spent this amount of time. Do you want to edit the timer or is this okay? So what that does is immediately just, you know, switches your brain from that endless browsing and sensitizes you to the fact that you have done more than you intended to do.
Fantastic.
You see, and with my phone monitoring tool, because even on, if you're using a Google phone or an iPhone, any of them, if you go to settings, you can also see your health monitor, your, you know, where it will tell you how many hours you have spent on the whole phone in a day, in a week. Just by doing that with Instagram, I said, once I reach a 30 minutes threshold, anytime I enter Instagram, alert me. Just by doing that, it crashed my phone usage by about more than 30–40%.
Wow.
Just that singular act. So it's not, we're not saying don't use these apps, just become more sensitive to your time spent there. In fact, some people go as far as setting an alarm clock. You mean they click on Instagram or social or Facebook or any of it. So once the alarm clock rings, it alerts them. But the danger with that is that will work when you deliberately go into these apps. What if someone just sent you a link and then you click on the link and then game over? You have just entered without even any repercussions. I'm
telling you. It's really, you know, you are absolutely right. That's awareness alone, honestly, have saved most of us on this call because it's something that we are not conscious of. And once you start being conscious of it, you'll be amazed how much productive time you have saved. Honestly, you've saved yourself from a lot of, you know, headache, you know. So that consciousness that, look, I'm going in, even before you open that app, I'm going in, I want to search this particular video. There is no harm for using it as an entertainment tool that it is. Just like if we say, but time it. That, okay, I want to do 15 minutes. Consciously set your timer, go in, enjoy your browsing or whatever. And when that timer goes off, self-discipline, stop. Don't be a user as it is intended and it is designed to make you become. Use it for what it is, be the one in control, and trust me, you would have mirrored a behavior that you want your children to emulate. So it's not enough for us to just give you the tools, okay, to give the children. You have to come being a digital parent. That's why the last statement there is invest in being a digital parent. Be the digital parent.
Aya says, don't become a junkie. That is so true.
Yes, digital junkie. Yes. Don't become a junkie. Know what you are doing. Mirror the healthy way to use these devices. And when you are setting, you know, guiding your child through their own use of the device, they respect you because they know that you have a healthy practice of digital use. Can I get a yes? Yes. Let's go to the next slide. Junkie high on IG.
So true, man. So true.
Oh my God. So let's watch this video as we round up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we've heard all the plenty things about digital parenting. It's overwhelming. There's a lot to do. But why should we really make the effort? So listen to Simon Sinek. He's someone who is very well known. He's known in the corporate circles. He's a motivational speaker. And he's someone who just speaks realistically. He's a disruptor too.
Almost every alcoholic discovered alcohol when they were teenagers. When we're very, very young, the only approval we need is the approval of our parents. And as we go through adolescence, we make this transition where we now need the approval of our peers. What's happening is because we're allowing unfettered access to these dopamine-producing devices and media, too many kids don't know how to form deep, meaningful relationships. Their words, not mine. They will admit that many of their friendships are superficial. They will admit that their friends, that they don't count on their friends, they don't rely on their friends, they have fun with their friends, but they also know that their friends will cancel on them as something better comes along. Deep, meaningful relationships are not there because they never practice the skill set, and worse, they don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. So when significant stress starts to show up in their lives, they're not turning to a person, they're turning to a device, they're turning to social media, they're turning to these things which offer temporary relief. Alcohol is not bad. Too much alcohol is bad. There's nothing wrong with social media and cell phones. It's the imbalance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's very, very eye-opening, honestly. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We have to be very intentional. The imbalance is the problem. Absolutely, Ayodele.
Yes.
The imbalance is the problem. We have to be very intentional with how we use these devices. We have to be conscious of our own use. We cannot tell the children how to use the devices if we ourselves are still struggling and not using it in a healthy way. Okay? So it starts from us becoming digital parents, and then we can guide our children to become better cyber citizens, better users of the digital space, better in navigating their way in the digital space through our guidance, okay? So we are going to move on to digital culture, I believe was the next slide.
Yep.
Yes, digital culture in the home. So I'm going to hand over the baton to the Oga convener of conveners. So I hope you guys have gotten enough value. Thank you so much. I really, really am honored to be here. I can't wait to see all of you on our digital parenting classes where we give you all the skills that you need. Thank you so much, Ayodele, that you need to help you on this new world that we are in. Don't worry, you are going to be the one in charge. Don't be scared about it at all. We are going to help you at every single step of the way. We have different materials that can help you. And by virtue of you being a member of this community, you're going to be exposed to all of them. I trust you. I promise you. Thank you so much, Doris. Thank you so much, Chineye. I'm handing over the baton to our convener, Ife Okafor, to take us digital culture, our amazing tech mom, writer. Yeah, I will even call her disruptor self in the parenting space. She has opened our brain to a lot of things. That okay, now I see. So you've helped me a lot on my parenting journey. You've made me a better parent. God bless you for all you are doing, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share, my little knowledge, with our community here, and I'm glad that they're all appreciative of what we are doing. Over to you, Ife. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jules. Please, can we show some love to Dr. Jules? She's taking us from the beginning, from being a 21st century parent, all the way to specifically being a digital parent. Now you can see why she's my business partner. Julia, thank you so much. Thank you for all the compliments you bestowed on me. I'm not here to disrupt or to take accolades. I'm just here to do that which my Heavenly Father has sent me to do, which is to build that society one family at a time.
Yes.
Now, guys, we've listened to everything that Juliet has said. I know that for some of us, our head is full. I know that for many of us, we are a tad overwhelmed by all we've seen. Some of us are even a bit traumatized by the fact that the makers of these things are not the users. A lot of us are seeing all the things we have to do. Now, these next few slides are just to give you, to summarize everything that has been said so that you know what you're going to do in your home as a strategy. Now, I know many of you will be saying, where are the tools? Where are the this? Where are the that? Now, let me explain something. If we start unbundling digital parenting tools, we can be here for the next 6 weeks. And that's a program that we are actually working on. At the end of this session, I'll give you more insight into that. But at the end of this session today, there will be things you can do. Don't worry, that's a promise. So there's this chart done by Christy Helsenman. She's also someone who talks about, finding your identity in the home, finding your identity in society. And so in one of her write-ups, she talked about how that culture should be manifested in the home. Now, the first thing is she's done an acronym called Consistency, Understanding, Leading, Talking, Unity, Relief, Established. She also has established an example, but I'll tell you why I took out the example part later. So we've taken her model and we've tweaked it a bit to something that you can work with. Now, when you talk of consistency, for example, we're saying be consistent in your own behavior. If you notice from what Dr. Juliet was saying, right? Dr. Jules was saying, it's not really about the children. It starts from us. The children, you can give them all the rules in this world. But if you are telling your children device time is 4 hours a day, and you are there 15 hours a day, and they see you be there 15 hours a day, they're going to constantly want to push back. Why is mommy there 15 hours a day? Yes, you can say you're working on it, you are doing this. Yes, we agree. But you see, if you're working on your device, you need to let your children see you work, not as you're working, you're also on Instagram, you're on Facebook. You need to be able to be professional about it. Let them see you work. Because I'll tell you something, children can tell when you're working and when you are doing all the damn things. When they see you socializing, that's what you should, put in the right consistency. It's not easy. It probably will disrupt our lives. But the thing is, if you do not do it, then we are just saying, do as I say, don't do as I do. And of course, from our previous classes, we know that we should be modeling more than talking about what they should do.
Yeah.
And now, I'm going to talk about consistency and culture, and I'm going to use reference points from something that we can understand. A lot of us here are Africans. I know some are not, but in the African context, for example, we value culture a lot. For example, you want to get married, you already know you have to do a traditional marriage. You already know there are steps, there are laid down steps, right? And if you like, the 10 people that want to get married this year, you will get the exact same kind of steps. The only thing, and there's even variations for anomalies, but they're consistent in it. If you go home to your hometown and somebody wants to get married next month, probably what somebody did in January is what you're going to do. So it's the secret to establishing a culture. Those things, some of them have been handed over by our ancestors 100 years ago, 50 years ago. Yes, sometimes they adapt. Yes, sometimes they restructure. But the thing is, when it's in use, it's usually consistent. So we want to be able to do some consistent behavior in our home so that our children too can adapt it as a culture, and know that when I have technology with me, I'm adapting it. It also helps when you have agreed upon rules and structures, So like I said, why are the rules and structures important? They help for when you are not on top of your game. The day you've come back from work, you are tired, or you're not sure what kind of decision to make, your guidelines will help. So you need to set those guidelines, those technology guidelines, and you need to be consistent with how you apply it in all aspects of your digital health. Whether you're online, whether you're on your laptop, whether you're wherever, it needs to follow through all the way through. The next thing is understanding. The first understanding you have to take today, if you don't take anything from this, is that we are pioneer digital parents. What that means is our own parents did not have to deal with the digital world. Remember, it was in our own lifetime. I mean, it was in the 70s that the first computer was made, and the first computer was the size of maybe 2 rooms in Lekki right now,
Yes.
And it was in our own lifetime that we had started having desktop computers, and it was in our own lifetime that we started having phones. And it's in our own parenting lifetime that we gave birth to children who met the digital world. So you see what we mean by we're pioneer digital parents, which is why we say that in as much as we know that the values our parents taught us transcend time, the way we apply them are very different because the world in which we were born no longer exists today. So you need to understand that. And as long as you know that we're the pioneers, that means we're learning as we go, and we're implementing as we go, and we're correcting as we go, which is why one of the most common sayings in this group is learning, unlearning, and relearning. Please, can we type that in the chat box? We're all learning, unlearning, and relearning. We are pioneer digital parents, and we're learning, unlearning, and relearning. So we have to be open-minded, and we have to be accommodating. When our children come with things that we don't understand, don't shut it down immediately. You are allowed to say, okay, you know what? Let me look at this thing. Let me assess it for myself. Let me ask some questions, and I'll get back to you. There is nothing wrong with you not knowing immediate answers. Those days where parents used to be the ojuju of the, or where you had to be the Google of your children, is no longer here. Your children understand that you cannot be competing with Google. So Let them get used to that fact. If there's any information you don't have as at when they're asking you, tell them, you'll get back to them. And please get back to them. Don't use it as a means to kill the matter. If they don't come back to you, you go back to them and get back to them. Now, the second thing is something we always say, get in there with your children. So why do some of us have so many apps on our phone? Because by the time you have children who are on social media or using apps for school, and you want to get in there, the first thing you do is download those apps and play around with those apps. So you cannot have children who are on social media if you're not on social media. I always use this example. It's like sending your child to the Arctic Circle. You don't know the temperature. You don't know the culture. You don't know how many hours it takes to get there. You don't know if you have network. You don't know if you're not interested in knowing, but you have sent your only child there and you're assuming they'll be fine. As a parent, I mean, anybody hearing that story will say you're a bit irresponsible, right? Because you don't even know if you can communicate with your child. You don't know what your child is doing there. And then what's yet, you're now sending maybe a 12 or an 11-year-old there. Come on now. We won't do that in physical world. So why would we do it in the digital world? Is it because the digital world is in one small box or one small laptop? No. I keep saying the digital world is bigger than our physical world. So we need to be in there with them. Doesn't mean you need to be posting every day or liking videos or any of that. Just be there. The algorithm will sort you out. Yes, sometimes it will show you something you like, you watch it. Okay, I see what they like here. By the time your child is telling you likes, I mean, as we're speaking right now, I don't know how many of you know of Hilda, the girl who's doing the cookathon. She's been there, she's been cooking for, can you imagine? My daughter is sitting not too far away. As soon as I said Hilda, the girl doing the cookathon, she said, yeah. You see, that shows me that I'm a 21st century mama because I'm on trend. I know what's going on. We know we have a Nigerian who's trying to break the Guinness World Book of Records. She's been cooking non-stop since Thursday, and she will not stop cooking till tomorrow evening. So you see, there's some fun stuff you get there, things you can bond with your children with. The thing is, you have to just be careful to regulate how much stuff you take in and how much time you spend there. Those are the golden rules. How much stuff you take in and how much time you spend there. Every other thing will be a reflection of your personality. If you're kind, your kindness will show online. If you're full of grace, your grace will show online. If you're responsible, your responsibility will show online. So while you model those things, you'll just be reinforcing screen time and screen content. Of course, like I said, you bond with them over their games or their content. You know who their friends are and who they're communicating with. You know, be friends with their friends if their friends are not too intimidated by having an adult be their friends. Because I know some friends, by the time you just add them to send friend requests, they start sending panic requests to their friend. Please, why is your mommy asking me to be their friend? You know, and they start wondering whether they need to edit their content. But the thing is, please don't stalk them. Just be there to see with an objective pair of eyes what your children do. Yes, Onyedika Chukwu and Ifeoluwa, go Hilda, go. I hope she really makes it. She's really trying. And if you guys want to know what we're talking about, just go to Google and ask for Hilda and Cookathon, and you will see what we're talking about. You see? So if you know, you know.
Absolutely.
Yes. So next one is leadership. As you can see, we have plenty to say about leadership because everything about digital parenting starts and stops with leadership. As a parent, you need to make sure that you know your children are your responsibility. The problem is we disassociate the digital part of their lives with the physical part of their lives. So today, tell yourself, I pledge to be a parent who is responsible for all aspects of my children's lives, including the digital one. Please, you are responsible for their digital lives. Please write that in the group, in the chat room. I am responsible for my child's digital life. Yes, so I see my Hilda Basi people. Go, Hilda. Aya is a good, yes, so yes. Dr. Joe, I know my community. I know they're there.
Yeah.
You know? So we take the lead by setting the necessary boundaries and the guidelines. So what are these boundaries? We monitor their screen time, we set screen time. We monitor how they download things, how they set up apps and all that. You also need to teach them and model healthy digital behavior. Guys, just give me a minute. I need to take a sip of water and I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you.
Come on, give me.
Are you guys?
Lola, please come.
You have to mute your mic. If you have to mute your mic real quick. All right. If you can hear me, guys, type a yes, yes. I just wanted to let you guys even in on my experience. My children, who knows about Roblox? Who knows Roblox, the Roblox world, that virtual world? Just type R if you know Roblox. Just type R for Roblox. R. Do you know what I do sometimes? Amy, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Catherine. You know what I do?
Amy is our MVP today.
I go into the Roblox world of my children once a while, and then they take me out to the world that they've built. These children, they built a complete village. They take me in their car, and then we go to the supermarket. I'll be in my room on my own device. Ayodele said same. Yes, those are the other,
bonding methods.
Bonding methods that you can have with them. So when they are on these games, go inside with them and see what their world is like. Whenever I go, they are always excited. All their friends will come and say, those mom is here with us, and they will not carry me to shopping, carry me to one place. There was one time we even went to a club. We all danced together. So that's how interesting it is, but always timed. So I'm always there with them for like 30 minutes or so. And I'll say, okay, I will leave you guys. You do the remaining 30 minutes, and then we wrap it up. And they are happy that we have that experience together. So yes,
exactly.
Even if you are going there and you mess up small, it's comical. They laugh and we bond through the whole thing. So just find that time and tell them you want to come on, you want to have your own virtual identity on their space. Nice. Yes, it's very, very nice.
And the thing about doing this, apart from the mileage you get in terms of bonding, right? When your children know that you are taking a mile in their digital world, right? In their digital footsteps, it remembers. It gives you relevance in their lives. Not that you're not relevant if you're not in the digital world, but when they know that you understand what they're going through, then they would, when you say no, they understand that you really understand the impact of that no. Yes, I remember, one of Ayo's little children demolished the house, the Roblox mansion her daughter made, and her daughter had a physical meltdown. And the only reason we could both relate was because we understood how much time and digital resources it took to build homes. And if you don't understand how your children can be building mansions that they can even sell for online money, and they can even use real money to buy online money to build that house, then you need to go and ask your children to show you their Roblox mansions and take a mile in their foot. And you would understand why your child would rather buy Roblox, that's digital cards, instead of birthday presents on their birthday, and you're wondering what's going on. I want $10 card, I want $5 card. Those are things you need to bond with them. Those are the realities they live in today. And the thing is, like, remember, these things are there to hold their attention, keep them coming back for more. So if you're not in there and understanding what's going on and seeing the level of addiction, you will just be putting in boundaries and guidelines that might not be effective or might be overkill. So you need to walk in that space. You also need to lead by example. So this is where I brought the example. Integrity is everything. Juliet says something, act from a place of honor. So whether your children are watching or not watching, right? What would you do whether they are there? Remember, you're modeling God in their lives. Remember, we talked about that last week with Ayo. You are their role model. You're supposed to model the virtues that God wants to be implemented in the world for your children. So the question is, if you don't want your children watching inappropriate content, why are you watching inappropriate content? We are playing Russian roulette, because one day they might just take your phone and one thing, they'll see what they're not meant to see. And let me tell you one thing about children. Whether you know or you don't know, the day they see that thing about you, it's better if they even talk to you about it, because at least you have the way to be able to restore your image. But some children won't, but they will always look at you different, because everything you say to them after that is wrong. They will say you are saying all these things, but you are not doing them. And for the children of this generation, it is important that your word is your bond. So please don't even tell them to do anything that you're not prepared to defend or do by yourself. Because once they don't have that trust that mommy and daddy are doing the same thing, then you've lost them. So are you the digital terrorists online, the keypad warriors that will go and be talking to people anyhow, be rude, be condescending, and you're telling your children good digital citizenship, they have to be kind, they don't have to talk anyhow? I've told you, even the ones you said before they were born, they will see it someday, unless you employ some people like me or some people that we know online that their professional work is to be scrubbing people's social media accounts. Let me tell you what's happening on trend right now. There's some woman we follow on Digital Parenting School. And yes, please, if you have not followed at Digital Parenting School, like, hello, what are you doing here? Please make sure you follow Digital Parenting School after this program. Now, this lady's job, like, she's been an IT professional. She was an IT professional for about 15 years or so. Then when just about the time Facebook came up, she started this digital parenting trend. Now, she's so well known in the US especially, that when parents want to send their children to university, guess what they do? They engage her to go and mine through their children's social media accounts and remove all the unsavvy posts, comments, everything. So that, because guess what? That your child that is doing all A's and is an athlete and can play piano or is a leader in school, leader, head boy, head girl, but online they are digital terrorists and they are doing anyhow. Guess what happens when they are seeking admission? Most schools, randomly though, most schools will check social media profiles of their applicants randomly. But the one that is not even random are the ones who are on scholarship. So for most of you who are going to apply for schools abroad, especially for scholarship, you better start curating your child's digital footprint. For those of you who want to start working in the international space, especially like now that we can do remote jobs, what is your own digital space like? You have to be very conscious about these things. Are we digitally distracted? Before you are talking to your child, you hear ping, the next thing you have carried your phone, and then you are expecting your child to be able to be present and make eye contact. How many of us observe that a lot of children these days cannot make eye contact? If your children don't make eye contact when they're talking to you, let them, just tell them, look at me, look at my eyes, let's talk. It's because they're waiting to hear the next ping on their phone. So they are usually not fully present. And so, in final words on this screen, if you are to raise healthy digital users on your own online lives has to be healthy. You can only model what you have. Now, the next one is talk. I cannot overemphasize it. That's why this one has 3 different images, 3 different scenarios for talking. But look at what I said. All the conversation is going on with eye contact. Bond with them over healthy conversations. Make the time. No matter how busy you are, your children are the most valuable, for lack of a better way to put it, assets. So whether you are building house, portfolio, whatever, please, please, and please, and please, make time for conversations with your children as a group and as individual. You can even talk about the devices they use. Talk about social media, things that are trending. But resist the urge to interrogate or lecture. What does that mean? When you're asking them, so I saw this your post today. That's interesting. What were you thinking about when you posted it? Really? Oh, okay. Never thought about it that way. Okay, can you share it with me? Now, that's one tone of conversation. Listen to that same conversation in another way. I saw what you posted, though. What is it about, Seth? All you children just be posting all the time. Eh? Did you even ask me before you posted it? Oh, yeah, send that thing to me now. Let me see it now. Same scenario, 2 different conversations. It might not be that you like what the child posted, but the way and manner you will approach it makes all the difference. Ask questions of interest and show your children that you really care to learn more about the digital world through their own eyes. Because trust me, you are online. The way you see the digital world is not the way they see it. So you also want to see the way they see it, so that when you're setting these boundaries, when you're guiding them, remember, we're shepherds of our children. We're not engineers trying to panel beat them into what we have in our brain that our children should be. We're trying to guide them through this world, empower them so that they can fulfill their God-given purpose. So you need to see the world through their own eyes to guide them effectively. Now, for some of us, the conversations might be difficult for us to start because it's new terrain to us. So we've dropped a few sentences here. Oh, how do you like spending your screen time? What do you do when you're doing your screen time? This next question is also a very important one. When you ask this question, especially with your children, you'll be very interested, you'll be very surprised at how much they know. Who are your favorite influencers or YouTubers or gamers, and why do you like them? Now, tip for parents. When they tell you who these people are, note it, note the names, and go and follow those people. It will tweak your algorithm to see more of their things, and then you begin to walk a mile in your children's footsteps. You begin to see the kind of content that comes to your children's stream. So when it's your child, like remember what I said, anything that is of interest to your child should be of interest to you. If you are becoming friends, Juliet mentioned virtue hunters. Oh, her children identify good virtues in certain people. She reaches out to the parents, she befriends the parents. That's one style. Now, when your children identify certain people who want to influence their mindset, both digitally and physically, in the place of YouTubers, influencers, gamers, and they follow them, you should follow them too, so that you see what they are seeing. So that if there's anything that gets excessive, then you begin to have conversations around them. What type of social media posts and stories do you like? Why? Do you think everything you see online is real? Can you tell the difference? You know, these are conversations you should be having with your children. What do you love about social media? What do you hate about it? And what should you do if you see something you find disturbing? Now, let me give a caveat. If your child cannot answer any of these questions, perhaps they shouldn't be online. Yes, I said it. Because your child should know what they're doing there. Remember, we're not raising users. We're not raising influencees. We're also raising influencers. And if your child cannot discuss what they do online, you know, as conversations, it means they are keeping some things very dangerous and they're hiding them from you, which is a very, very big issue. Or they can't even process it mentally, in which case perhaps you want to now start to reduce their screen time and their online presence. So parents, start having those conversations today. The other one is unity. As parents, if you're a two-parent home, which we expect that most godly parenting homes should be, but again, we understand that life happens and sometimes you go at it alone. Sometimes you have to be a blended family, maybe a stepmom here and all of that. The point is, whoever it is that are influencing, guiding the children, whether it's blood parents, whether it's guardians, grandma, you all need to be on the same page. So I had something I was doing in my home when my kids were young. African Magic wasn't allowed for my kids. Cartoon Network was not allowed for my kids. Some other broadcast channels were done with supervision, some, but you see those two, I was very intentional. And before you say I don't want to be African, it wasn't about the African nature of the content. It was about the crass way they used to talk and the unhealthy focus on diabolical things. I didn't want my children growing up with that before they could understand and process it in content. And so whether my mother-in-law was coming, whether it was my own parents, whoever came into my house, if you change the channel to Cartoon Network or African Marriage, we will have a conversation why it's not allowed in my home. If you come to stay with me, you will learn the ground rules about TV. Sorry guys, stay muted please. And you will learn the ground rules about TV watching in my home. And basically the rule was simple. When the kids are home, the children have priority over the TV content. That means in their own TV time, they have priority over what is watched and what kind of channels they will do. So you're only allowed to watch. So if you're an adult and you want to watch African Magic, no problem, but it's not when my children are home. And we have those conversations. So in blended families, if you're a stepmom here, your children is going to stepdaddy's house, have those conversations so that it's not when they're in your house, they're doing A, and they're another place, they're doing B. Remember, online, Cartoon Network, someone asked why Cartoon Network, because Cartoon Network actively sends a lot of subtle messages and reprogramming for children, from violence to identity issues. They are the chief proponents of things like having gay cartoons, having violent cartoons, and a lot of the cartoons on Cartoon Network are actually, if you watch Cartoon Network when we were kids, right, up till this point, you will realize that Cartoon Network was not created for children. It was created for adults. So most of the cartoons there have a bit of, there are those that are for children, I mean, but more of the cartoons that have adult level content put in cartoon form. Exactly. Ayo said it has a lot of adult themed cartoons. It was not initially created for children. And since you're not going to be there to be vetting what they're watching hour on hour, your best bet is to just eliminate it and go to healthier content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then as a family, we need to be united. In my home, we have a motto. It's called love of God, love of family, dignity. And that's the order of our priorities. Things of God first, the family. So as a family, we are not even compromising our unity. Outsiders, if we have issues internally as a family, we deal with it internally. Third party doesn't bother. Same thing, it transcends to the digital world, right? We need to be united as a family. So when you sit down and everybody, yes, music videos are the worst.
Don't even go there.
Let's not even go. See, if we go down this path of discussing the things we see on TV, we'll be here till tomorrow. As a family, when you notice that you've not had conversations as a family in a day, perhaps you just put your phones face down, tell your children, come on, let's bring up, look, you know your children, you know your family, you know what interests them. Bring up topics of things that interest them, bring up conversations that would grab their attention. And if their attention is not being grabbed, tell them, guys, just give me 5 minutes of your time. Okay? We can't go 24 hours without having conversations as a family unit. I think that's very weird, you know? And then fight for that connection. You know why? Everything outside of your family is fighting for your attention. Dr. Jules said it. Your attention is being drawn by work, by stress, by social media, by doing, so you have to fight, like really intentionally fight for you to stay united. Eat together, play together, pray together, hang out together. Don't tell me, oh, you're not used to these children's things. Get used to it. They want to watch children's movies, watch with them. My children know once it's holiday time, they pick the movies of their choice. We're going there. Whether it's cartoon based, whether it's whatever, we're all going there and I'm going to watch it and I'm going to enjoy and we're going to connect. Try to have, I would say, have a meal a day together, but I know that that's tough, especially in the world we're living in, right? But if you can't have a meal a day together, a week must not pass without you guys sitting together and having a meal as a family. I would also prefer that there are no phones during that meal. Look at each other in the eyes, have conversations. And it doesn't matter whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whatever works in your family. Doesn't matter whether you're even doing takeout, have it together, no device, and just gist. Okay? Talk about your family values and all the other things that you live by, but stay united. Then release them. Same Christy Hesselman says, the goal, don't take your eyes off the goal of all this monitoring that we're doing and all these plenty things. The end goal is to raise healthy digital users in a gradual transition, right? From micromanaging them, don't use this, don't use that, to their digital lives. That's from micromanaging their digital lives to giving them complete freedom to the online space, having given them the tools they need to do it well. Now, the thing is this, with the children you're working with today, if you choke them, they'll take their freedom by force and in secret. And so you won't have the opportunity to give them the tools that they need. If you, the mom and dad, are in denial, then you wouldn't even know what tools they need in the first place. So you leave your children to go online eventually, because you see, age is not your friend when it comes to digital parenting. By the time your child is either 18 or going off to university in another country or state, last 21. Yeah. In fact, if your child allows you till 21 to monitor them, please clap for that child, they try. Most times, by the time your child is going to university or 18 and above, they have complete digital freedom, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
So you have between now and that time to go from micromanaging to gifting them the freedom with the tools. And that means you have to do it gradually with their buy-in, so that by the time you're saying, free you, go ahead, you two know that they won't just wake up and say, freedom at last. Oh yeah, let me go and start posting all those things, looking at all the porn. They shouldn't want to feel like they're breaking out of jail and they missed out on anything. Yeah. They should say, in fact, their freedom should just be a natural transition, like they're not doing anything different. It's just normal thing that they were doing it before. It's just that now mommy doesn't ask me too many questions. That's what freedom should be like for your children, because you have done it stage by stage by stage by stage. We need to train them to manage their freedom. We need to give them more freedom as they show responsibility and trustworthiness. Trustworthiness, again, is them knowing that when you are not looking, they're doing that thing which you have taught them to do, that thing which you expect them to do. Give them increased responsibility and comment on their good decision and behaviors. Parents, please don't be waiting for when they make mistakes to kill them. When they do well, comment on it and empower them to lead themselves ultimately. And the last one is establish. We have said all the things you need to do, but you see, like we said, to maintain consistency, you see, we've gone around in a circle. To maintain consistency, you need to establish ground rules. Some of the ground rules include things like screen time. How much screen time? I was laughing at me saying breaking out of jail, but that's what it feels like for them, really. Some of them like, finally, she cannot see me again, and then they go haywire.
Yeah.
How much screen time is good screen time? For the younger ones, they will say, for toddlers, not more than 1 hour. It's tough. I know. I don't even want to know what everybody that has a toddler is trying to say. You mean 1 hour? You mean I can't give? And please don't give your toddler your phone. That's a no-no, because by the time you want to withdraw the phone and start practicing screen time, it cannot work. So don't even start it. Look for devices that they can use that are age appropriate. I would say don't go beyond 3 hours practically. But if you can achieve 1 hour, please, see, that's like the ultimate standard. And remember what Ayo said. We preach the standards, but we know that we may fall short of them, but do not water down those standards. That's what it is. That's what we should aim for. Because if we say 1 hour is impossible, 3 hours is my standard, guess what happens? You will do 5 hours. So let's keep it at the standard and aim for those standards. Create tech-free zones and times. There should be times when your children should not be using devices. For example, if they're of certain ages, the phones in their room is a no-no. Because, in fact, even when they're using desktop, laptop, for years in my house, the children had access to one desktop, and it was banged in the middle of the living room. If you're from almost every corner of my house, you can see the screen. Guess what happens? It means that they can't use that device to be watching secret, because even from the top of my room, I can see what the screen is showing. So have your devices in strategic places, especially when the children are younger. When they are older, we said gradually, you can have your own device, but you can't use it in the room. Then when they get to certain ages, they can use it in the room. But of course, mommy will be randomly checking their accounts and things to make sure that what is going on there is healthy. Why don't you want them to use it in enclosed spaces? Because enclosed spaces is where they are tempted to start going to places where they should not go. So don't tempt them unnecessarily. Remember, these children are jacked up on hormones from puberty and their brains are still evolving. So don't expect them to make the adult decisions. Then things like during lunch, dinner time. Yeah, we've been letting them in IO. It's just that it keeps coming up, Now, those, like we said, during dinner time, form the habit of engaging in conversations during family activities, and all that. Again, do what works for your family. Because one family does not has meal time every dinner, they're having one dinner together, they are not talking, does not mean you should wake up and now and start turning things upside down in your home. If it's just Lagos traffic alone, it can disrupt all sorts of things. So do what works in your home and what can be consistent. What's your bedtime protocol? What time are the children expected to drop their devices before they go to bed? Please don't let your children fall asleep with their devices in their hands. That's a bad culture. They will not break even as adults. Many of us as adults fall asleep with our phones in our hands. If you do that today you should stop that. So if you set an alarm to trigger you to know what your bedtime is, many of us are having unhealthy issues, are having headaches and all that because we don't have good sleep hygiene. And that's a lot of that sleep hygiene issue comes with the phone call and the use of phone devices before bedtime. So we do that. Make sure your children do their chores and their responsibilities. At what age do you allow children use their device in your room? Well, like I said, it's about the trust level of your child. But for me, I would say, I don't think it should be earlier than 13, 15. Because you see, the pressure of peers and the influence they hold on them is a whole lot. It's a whole lot. Chores versus devices. Please let your children do their chores before they end their device time. You know, let them do what they're supposed to do. Password policy, please, if your child is still using a device in your house and they're not yet up to 18, and they're not, their password should be available to you. Who's that, please? So, and when I say their password should be available to you, it doesn't mean that you are going to say, give me a password. Again, remember, this is from a position of trust. This is not a jail, right? You are not trying to become the digital police. No, you are becoming the digital shepherd. That means that your child should willingly, if your child changes their password, they should willingly say, Mom, I changed my password. Dad, I changed my password. This is the new password. Now, why is it important for you to have access to your children's online passwords, the different apps? If there are 20 passwords, please save all 20. There's a reason. When things happen online, and you see, life will always happen. Here, take that from me. No matter all the rules you put in place, no matter all the security features you put in place, when they say statistics 1 in 10, guess what? We're about 70 in this group. That means 7 people in this group. Something will happen. Do you understand? So our children are those part of those statistics. Things will happen. Nobody plans for them. Nobody wishes the worst, but you plan for them. Passwords are on 2 layers. Your children trust you enough to know that you're not going to take their password and choke them with the password and go and haunt their whole life history, right? The second one is when things now go bad, because you've been going through their accounts casually, occasionally, and because you have their passwords, you can quickly intervene before even that child knows what to do.
Yeah.
So it's the last bus stop, is the security feature, right? Please, if your children are in all those apps that we showed today, please let them give you the passwords for all those apps. And you're not going to go and say, oh yeah, start giving me your passwords. You have to have a conversation about it and explain to them why it's in their interest so that they would willingly remember what we're trying to do. Remember the goal. Let me go back to what the goal was, right? Sorry. Oh, sorry. Tech. Remember the goal, raising healthy digital users, right? And it's a gradual transition. And you want to go from micromanaging their digital lives to giving them complete freedom to an online space and having given them the tools they need. So you see that you're not doing this thing to mark register that, okay, I'm a digital parent, I've checked password, I've monitored, I have screen time. You are doing this because you're trying to give your child a certain skill set that they will need when you are not there. So the test for all your digital parenting practices is how your child will behave when they're not there. And that means that they will make mistakes. And you will use the mistakes as learning curves. Again, last week we talked about letting your children make mistakes, because sometimes those mistakes are things that they need at that time as part of their growth. But the thing is, if you don't have means to intervene quickly, swiftly, and knowledgeably, then the mistake might go too far and become irreparable. So have those conversations with your children today. And to make all this easier, there are parental controls and device monitoring tools that simplify a lot of these processes. I will just talk about the top 3 free ones in the next slide. I'll break them down. But again, as you can see, there's no way we can talk about how to install them And I will, after the session, I will tell you what the Digital Parenting School is putting up together, because we've had so many requests on this issue. And we'll talk about what we're putting up, to help parents in that space. Now, the top 3 digital parenting tools, parental control tools, and device monitoring tools are your Microsoft Family Safety. So if you're using Windows, once you're using a laptop, right? Especially if it's not a MacBook. Once you're using a laptop that is not a MacBook, right? You need to have this Microsoft Family Safety. Once you're using iPhone, iPad, anything. Sorry, somebody was saying something. Please, can we stay muted, please? Okay, so this person I can't even mute the person. This is interesting.
I can't even make out what she's trying to say.
Yeah, but I think she was kicked out or something. Well, network issues. Anyway, once you are using anything, right? Apple Screen Time is your go-to. And then if you're using anything, Google, Samsung, all those type of stuff, Google is your Family Link. Google Family Link is your go-to monitoring app. Everything is available on Google Play Store, Apple Store. You know where you can find them, or you can just download them from online. They are all user-friendly, so don't be afraid. What do you mean by invitation is required? You need to, for Microsoft Family accounts and for Google, you need to create, for Google, you need to create Gmail accounts. For Microsoft Family, you need to create Outlook accounts. And then when you set up the family, and these things are easy to set up. Like if you Google Microsoft Family Safety, how to set up, as in all the instructions are there, step by step by step by step. Same thing with Screen Time, same thing with Google Family Link, there are YouTube videos as well. You create the account, you need to now send the invitation to your child, and then your child will respond, and then they are brought into the family. Then once they are members of the family or members of the organizational group, because Microsoft is transitioning from family to organization, that means that you, the parents, will be the organizer and the children will be the members, for example. Or once you invite them to the Google family, then they are members of the family, then monitoring can start. Is there any age limit for monitoring? For Microsoft Family, as long as you are listed as member, whatever I say goes as the organizer. Apple Screen Time, as long as I'm the one that is in charge of the family, whatever I set up goes forever and ever until I say you are now organizer or you are no longer part of the family. But for Google Family Links, and now this is important, once your child turns 13, right? If they know what they are doing, they can override whatever settings is put for them. So if your child is using Samsung, for example, my advice is pair it. Now, all Samsung phones have a relationship with Microsoft Family Safety. So create an Outlook account for them and put their Samsung phone under the devices they are using for Microsoft Family Safety. So that way, even when they get to 13 and they can manipulate the Google Family Link, they cannot manipulate Microsoft Family Safety. I know there will be many things to ask about this. We will try to address as many as we can, but like I said, this installing of devices is a session on its own and can take up to 2 or 3 sessions. So it's a lot. Usage monitoring, yes. So Microsoft Family Safety and Google Link will allow you, they will let you know how many hours in a day your child can use and how available. So it can be available from 6 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. Yes, you can set all those times and say that in that 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I can only allow them 3 hours, any 3 hours of their choice within that set time. Microsoft Family Safety and Google Family Link are excellent at that. Apple Screen Time. Now, why we put no here is that you can actually get it to do the usage monitoring, but it's not as flexible as the other two. So and I noticed that with more recent times, they are building in the flexibility. So yes, Apple Screen Time can do it. As at the time we did this presentation, it couldn't do it, but I've noticed that it can do a bit of flexibility now. And we will address that in our Digital Parenting School session. Remote management, yes. So from where I am right now, I can turn off all my children's devices Now, like now. If I just say, oh, lock, everything will just be shutting down. It won't even give them notice. You know,
Magic.
it's easy to do.
It's
I remember when I first showed Juliet how to do it. She went crazy for the first 1 week. Her children were suffering in her hand. They would just be talking. She actually did an Instagram post about it. They would just be talking. She just say, guys, wait, I want to do something. She just press, boop. The child would be like, you know, it's actually quite addictive to have that kind of power as a parent. But hey, we are not jail. We are not jail. What's it called? Monitors. We are here to help the children. Age filtering, yes, it will filter the content based on whatever age you set as that child. Do they have dashboards for you to see? So if you see the beautiful dashboards, you can see how many hours of browsing your child has done. You can see how long they've been on the devices. You can see how long they've been on each app that they've gone. So many things. We've talked about where they are available on. The number of devices you can manage per child, unlimited. But for Google, you don't manage the devices, you manage the Google account sign-in. So even if your child is signed on just one device, and is only on Google, assuming they have their school email, and their school email is Outlook, and they use that to sign in on their laptop, but they only use Google to sign in on their phone, right? Guess what? That means you can only monitor the phone. The laptop is now left out of the monitoring. So you have to think it through and know the combination. Most times people are using at least a combination of two of these tools, because most people who are in school, the children are mostly using Windows devices and are using either iPhone or Google if they're using phones or, you know, mobile devices. Again, we've talked about the operating systems. We've talked now for Apple screen time, it is on the device that you set the screen time. So it doesn't matter how many accounts or any of that. You just go to Apple, go to settings, go to screen time, and then start setting. Yeah. But for family safety and Google Family Link, I remember I said you invite people into the family and then you start to coordinate. So your family, so Microsoft Family is trying to, and Google, they're trying to do family planning for you. I don't know who sets them. You can only have maximum of 6 with Microsoft. You can only have maximum of 5 with Google. So what some people do is maybe they put their older kids in one family setting and put their younger kids in another family setting, and then you take it from there. That is if you have more than. So family safety, assuming it's husband and wife, that means you can only have 4 children. Google Family Link, assuming you have husband and wife, that means you can only have 3 children. Then safe search, what this means here is that the safety feature of the searching is only applied to if you use Bing internet browser, if you're using family safety. Apple does not send you, it's the device they are monitoring. So anything you are doing on that device, they are monitoring everything, all the searches. Google only monitors Google, YouTube, any Google-based apps. So this is all your monitoring tools, the free ones though, in a nutshell. So based on all of this, I believe you know which ones or which combination. In my house, we use all 3 because my older daughter uses an iPhone because we like the granular nature of how you can monitor everything. The younger ones use Google phones, but not even, it's not their phone, do you understand? It's a device they use and it's set to very specific time. But most of the work we do is on our Microsoft Family Safety because my children are all in tech, digitally empowered schools. So they use their laptops in school for school learning and at home for homework and all of that. So someone asked in the WhatsApp group how they will be able to monitor their child when they're not in town and all that. These are the ways you can do it. For those who use tech for school, these are the ways you can ensure that they still have time for tech in school, but you also can monitor which apps they are using. You can put it in such a way that some apps are only on weekends. So that you don't distract your children. Yes, you can go that granular. If your child is in senior school and you don't want them using social media on weekdays, there's a way to make sure that social media doesn't appear. But I'll say this, if your child is already like 15, 16, and you're saying no social media, no this, I don't think it's healthy. And this is my personal opinion, and I'll tell you why. You have, 3 years or less to get that child from micromanaging to completely free. 3 years is quite a short time for that gradual increment. Maybe you don't want them to have a phone of their own. You can access some of these apps gradually, gently from the laptop. Again, remember what I said, we don't want children who are feeling like they're breaking out of jail once they enter university. Remember how our university days were. Without digital, university was already a very tempting environment freedom, free time, alcohol, access to alcohol, access to porn, access to drugs. And bear in mind, all this is also accessible in secondary schools today. The only thing you can say is maybe they go and come from your house. So maybe if you're lucky, you'll be monitoring it. But the point is, by the time they're entering university, you have little or no control. If you're now adding device as that thing that is their focus, it's a poisonous combination to go into university with. You want that done and dusted before they get in there. So if you are still in denial about whether your child should be online, today is the day you should tell yourself some home truths and ask yourself some hard questions and answer those questions and take your actions from there. And with that, we have come to another video. Now, what does good digital parenting look like? We're going to watch this very short video and then we'll see. I know our time is going far, but there's nothing much. This is the last part of it.
Hey, babe.
Hi.
What's going on?
Well, Paige is having a sleepover and she's inviting everyone to her house except me. And she didn't even sit by me at lunch.
You didn't sit by Paige at lunch today? You always sit by Paige at lunch.
I know, it's so weird. She's just been so distant lately. I thought we really connected, like talking a lot and doing homework together and figuring things out. Like, I guess not. It's just been different.
I'm sorry. That's really surprising. It seemed like last week you guys were getting along great. It frustrates me. I mean, Paige has been over at our house how many times? Does it make you worried that she's going to continue to be like this?
Yeah, I don't want to lose her. And I don't want to lose my other friends either.
Are they being distant as well?
Well, I mean, Paige kind of like has a big impact on like the other groups, so I feel like Paige kind of stops talking to me. They do.
Is that frustrating?
Yeah, it's really frustrating. I don't know why she has such a big impact on them.
And they're going to be all together this weekend?
Yeah, and they're going to take pictures.
Then they're going to post them to Instagram and social media, and everybody else will see the pictures and see that you weren't there, tagged in them. And everybody will know you were left out. I feel like it could be embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing. I don't want people to think I'm kicked out of the group.
I'm so sorry, honey. I hate that.
Sorry, I just want to mute this person. Okay, thank you.
Feeling of being embarrassed. Will you let me know if there's anything I can do to help? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's go back to we're not watching it from the beginning. Now, I'm not going to break down the layers of this here because there's a whole lot of I can do a 2-hour conversation on this short video. It will be one of our discussion topics in the WhatsApp group. If you're not in our WhatsApp group and you want to have extended conversations, please follow our WhatsApp link. It will be posted in the chat. Chiamaka, please do that for us so that you can have all the access to the extended conversations. But I'm just going to say this. This is what good digital parenting looks like. I did not say good parenting because I don't know all the other sides of the story. Is he a terrorist when it comes to other things? But in terms of good digital parenting, you could see all the side commentary. He understood who the important friends were. He understood why they were important. He understood the fact that in 2023, when your child is doing something and is posted online and they don't show up, it matters. And he did not dismiss it. He addressed it. And notice something. In the end, he did not solve the problem. Parents, free yourself. It's not every problem you can solve. It's not even every problem you should solve. You get that? It's not every problem you should solve. But every conversation should leave your child knowing that mommy, daddy understands, or at least has my back, is in my corner. Even when you don't understand, let them know that you still are looking out for them. This is a summary of a lot of conversations, a lot of engagement. I mean, he knows who Paige is to her. How many of us know the important friends in our children's lives? Do you understand? The child is online. I want to assume she's above 13 because if you are under 13, you shouldn't be online in any of the social media. It is illegal. So, well, that's another conversation for another day. So as parents, when we watch this video in our spare time, please see that he did not go crazy and did not start telling her how she doesn't have to be attending every party. We know this. She probably even knows this low-key, but hello, this is Paige. This is Paige, oh, like her party of life, because obviously they have lunch together. For him to say, he didn't have lunch with you today. So you have to understand the context. When you're telling your child it's not every party you should be attending, it's not every friend that you should be telling your child that, you the parents. You should understand. It's not every friend that your child has that you have the right to tell that child, it's not every party you should be attending. This is your child's best friend from the looks of it. So it has to be addressed in context. So this is what a good digital parent looks like in practice. This is what we hope to model for our children, give them safe space to come to us. And I love the fact that I was daddy. I know in other environments, when I said this, mommies came for me, daddies are lucky, they're not the ones that are digging all the police laws, wash plate, do this. So when they come to them, they are relaxed. I say, yes, but hello, did anybody give you the role of police? When you police for some time, you step off you move your police cap and your baton, drop it down, relax with them too. You are the one putting yourself in that box. The children didn't ask you to. You will get them to get those skills and those chores. But the most important thing that is more critical is that you should, Chiamaka, sorry, this link you posted is not complete. The most important thing is that you should bond with your children. Because whether they are washing plates or they are laundry champions or they are so neat, the point is, when they leave your house, would they want to have a relationship with you? Because that's when the real tough stuff comes. And you want them to be able to have conversations with you to tap from your wisdom and experience willingly. And with that, we get to the end. Last slide. Establishing healthy digital culture is a day-by-day incremental process. So you're not going to achieve everything in one day or in 1 month or in 1 year, but you will look back and start seeing that there's progress. Look out for the progress, not necessarily the result. Sometimes we feel like we're winning. Sometimes we feel like we're complete failures, but keep going. I have an experience I wish I could share with one of my children, but 1 or 2 persons here know. And me, I'm a digital parent, and when my child had this digital issue, trust me, the little voice in my head was like, are you sure you have the moral rights? But I thank God that at that time, I was also on a journey with God, because he showed me that this was for a time and for a purpose, for the overall benefit of my child. And that's what gave me the courage to continue doing what I'm doing. So you will make mistakes. Your child might not align with you in some things, but just keep going. Give yourself grace and give your family grace. Right? Learn from your mistakes and focus on the prize. And the prize is to raise adults who are free from digital addictions. They add positively to the online space, and they use and enjoy the online world for the useful tool that it is. And we enter our question and answer sessions. So I'm going to make 2 announcements before we enter our question and answer sessions. Thank you everyone for sticking with us even beyond our scheduled time. The first thing is that we're just going to end this by 7 officially so that we can take in a few questions. So you can start putting in your questions Thank you, Chinonso. Thank you so much. Put in your questions in the chat box so that we can address as many as we can. Like we did last week, anyone that comes in before we sign up, if we don't have the opportunity to address them before the end of the class, we will address them in the WhatsApp group. And then I want to make an announcement. So this program was done specially by Juliet and I, and we're the two founders of the Digital Parenting School. And Digital Parenting School, like I said, is here to empower parents with skills and tools. From time to time, we have webinars, free sessions, free classes. But because of the gross need, the immense need that we've been approached by different schools, different bodies, different parents to put up something, we are coming up with the Digital Parenting Masterclass. It's going to be something like this, 6 weeks on Sundays, 4 to 5:30, and it will start on the 25th of June. With time, we will send out the formal notifications, and members of this community will be offered a decent discount because you are part of us, and we want to show you love back for sticking with us and doing this with us. So look out for that email or that communication.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chifi, for the presentation. That was beautiful. I had a lot of self-reflection during the talk.
Yeah. As many times as I give this